Mr. Fowler, I want to take a moment here and review the lesson we had the other day. When we take a look at the computer screen here right now, what we're initially seeing is a before and after of our main objective, or what we primarily focused on in the lesson here. Now, it was a pleasure seeing you again, and I'm glad the winter, the winter was unfortunately a little cold for us and kind of took a little longer to get through, but hopefully we get some days and start getting things going and start practicing a little bit more. But as I start to golf swing on the left-hand side here, one of the things we see here, and one of the things that I am happy to say that you've done, if you did keep with over the year, is one, we were able to get our weight back to this right-hand side. I know we worked on that a lot last year, and then also we worked on trying to make that turn down, and then turn through without trying to release this right hand as much, collapsing that left elbow as we turn down and turn through. But for the biggest part, making a turn back from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Now, what do we see different between the picture on the left-hand side and the picture on the right-hand side? Well, the biggest thing that we see is the breakdown of the left arm right here, and consequently create another lever. So we have two levers initially in this particular swing. Now, when you start adding things to a variable, or start adding variables to an equation, things become a little more complicated, a little bit harder to do time after time and harder to repeat time after time. Now, what we initially worked on, what we tried getting back to, and when we look here on the right-hand side, the biggest part, and I'm just jumping all the way to the end, after we talked for a little while, was trying to get to the point that if we swing back to about 10 o'clock here, if this was a clock here, and we looked at this position here, and just kind of said that, well, let's take a look here. We want to swing back to to about 10 o'clock, trying to keep this left arm as straight as possible. Now, as I rewind you and as I get you back into that position, I just wanted to show you that by being able to allow you to only come back to 10 o'clock, a lot of times, one, we don't see as many of the levers letting go. We start seeing the weight turn through, and if we look at these two positions, look at the difference in these two positions. You can almost see that right hand completely releasing all the way through because you've initially started it early at the top of here, right from the top. Harder to keep that position because, one, it's almost like a chain reaction. The left elbow starts right there, left elbow starts, which then in turn starts the right hand. It starts the right hand wanting to release right here, come down through. Now we've completely released the golf club in this position. When we look at these two positions, you can see almost a straight line. And the reason I know it's almost released because look at how the club is bowling forward. Look at the difference over here. Because we stopped the club from wanting to take the club and making a turn all the way back in the golf swing, now, we still have a little bit of wrist set. We haven't released the club all the way. So in turn, as you swing down and you swing through, one of the things we see, you can still see that left hand has not collapsed. The right, there's still a little bit of wrist set right here compared to, we can see the difference here. Bam, bam. Right hand starting to take over the left hand. You can start to see the slight little bow here in the left wrist. But for the biggest part, look at the bow of the shaft. Look at the difference between these two positions. Night and day difference here, Mr. Fowler. And that's the kind of the point as we look at this, trying to allow you, look at the left arm. Left arm doesn't break down as well. You can kind of see the left arm being kind of here and here, whereas here, look how much straighter it is, even at this point here. Big difference. Look at those two positions. You still see just a little bow in the left arm, nice straight left arm on the left-hand side. So it allows you to make a little bit better turn, make a little bit better contact time after time. So how did we get to this point? Well, initially as we started in the lesson, we talked about a few different things. And what I talked about here, and I'm going to go back behind it, is, we talked about swinging right down the line. If I can get a little better picture than this here, trying to get a little better at the top here. But what we initially started talking about was as you started to take the golf club back. One, starting to feel just, you know, how can I say it? As you take the golf club back in the right hand side, you almost like the right hand is initially just pulling the club back and kind of picking it up. You kind of watch your right elbow here. Look at the difference between the face of the golf club here and the face of the golf club here. Well, what I initially did is I put that little board out here. Now, what I want you to try to do is try to keep that toe along that line of that board here. Still wanting to pull it back just a little bit, but as the club starts to come up, I wanted you to rotate that toe of the club to the sky. And that's what you started to do. And that's what we want to see, a little bit better position here. So as the hands get up into the swing, we see a better position. The face is in a much better position. But for the biggest part here, you can almost see right from the beginning that right elbow starts to collapse. You're just picking the club straight up, face closed. So we've seen it consistent. You almost see both elbows bent here in this position. Then you bring it back down and through. Well, first initial, this is something pretty simple. You can do in the house in these nice rainy days that we've had here the last couple of days. But initially, just feel the rotation of both the forearms and the arms going back. But ideally, trying to turn that toe of the club to the sky. That's all I want. Just kind of some half swings, taking the club up, just feeling that position. Two, as we go back then now, all I want you to feel then as you start taking the club back here is I want you to turn back. And we kind of worked on just kind of feeling like you're turning that, keeping that left arm straight and just turning that shoulder back behind the golf ball. When we look here, this is the golf ball at our feet. You can clearly see if the golf ball is in the center of our stance, you can clearly see that we've turned that left shoulder back. And that's all I really want you to do. Kind of feel no bending it, no setting, no cocking the wrist, no doing anything. I want you to keep the left arm straight, turn that shoulder back behind the ball. Just kind of feeling that position, feeling that weight get back to that right side. Then consequently just initially just turning back and turning through. Obviously a little bit harder to turn back on this one and not look at the ball, but I'm not too concerned with it. I'm just, I want you to feel that shoulder turn back. Obviously we're really exaggerating as we do this, but that's all we're doing, just getting used to feeling that weight go back up over that right side. Left arm a little straighter. It can be bent slightly, but not at that right angle that you had before. Here's another picture of us here. And we're sitting there talking about just different things, but ideally trying to get you feel that weight turn back over that right side, turn up to about that 10 o'clock position, make it a good full shoulder turn, and holding that wrist position that we talked about before. Now that was a much better turn, and consequently when we look at this, what you'll see a big difference of is we'll see, you've got your shoulder turn. Instead of the club getting up to the top of the golf swing, you've made your shoulder turn here. Could a little more weight get to this right side? Yeah. But initially, instead of that last 6 inches the golf club travels here, it's all the right hand collapsing, both elbows, bringing the hands closer to your body. Initially thought that you could think of here, try to keep those hands as far away from the head as possible. So as you turn back, you turn up to the top. That's all we need to see. Look at the difference. Look at the posture for one of your body. Night and day difference. This is all we need. You can hold then from this position here. You can hold that wrist set all the way down and through the shot. So, what are the things I want you to do? Well, 10 to 15 swings, just taking that, feeling that rotation of the forearms, rotating that, feeling a rotation of the forearms and hands, turning that toe up to the sky as you take the club back. 2, making just some turns back. Might introduce you, I'm going to show you a ball drill here. I'm going to attach this. Maybe do the ball drill. Getting those hands together and turning them back up over that right elbow, right foot, trying to get in a better position at the top. And then 2, keeping that left arm at that 10 o'clock position. Little bend, not the right angle we see on the left hand side. If you have any questions, Mr. Fowler, be sure to let me know. 314-724-6539, or give me shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com. Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name's Michael Wyatt. I just wanted to go over today a small drill we talked about today, which was the ball drill. Today I'm going to improvise and use, for those people that do not have a ball, we're going to use a head cover. Now initially by using this, you can emphasize if you have a beach ball, a playground ball, or any type of basketball or even soccer ball to use this, but initially what we're going to try to do is by using a ball, what we're going to emphasize instead of using the golf club. Not all of us can swing the golf club in the house, but we can do is we can swing a ball in the house. Now by using this, what we're going to try and hopefully cure or hopefully get a emphasis on is one, we're going to see that by doing the proper ball drill, we're going to turn properly back and through, and or it's going to help us feel getting the hands back in the right position. Now what it's going to look like is just like this. What I essentially want you to do is I want you to step forward, and this is kind of heads-on view here. Just hold the ball with both palms touching one another, and all I want you to do is to turn back, almost act like you're handing the ball to someone behind you, and then all we're going to do is we're going to turn up to the top, about shoulder high to head high. Now from here, what you'll find here, initially I want you to feel, if we think about gravity, the ball is just going to fall to the ground. So essentially we're just going to let the ball fall to the ground, which allows our right elbow come to the side. We're going to turn through. We're going to hit the bottom part of our left side of our body, almost like we're reaching forward to shake or hand the ball to the person in front of us, and then come back up to the left-hand side. Some people have told me this looks kind of like a U, but in some cases, if you look like it, that's essentially making a U here, bottom part of the U, bottom part of the U, and then the top part of the U. What initially it'll look like from the back side is something like this. As we turn down the line, we're handing that ball back here, and then we're turning up. You can see how it's just a natural move where we're keeping the hands in front of us, but we're holding on to this ball. In this case, the head cover. But as we let the ball come down, here's the ball falling back down, through, down the line, and then back up. Now as you do this, we're going to do the same type of reps. We're going to do 2 sets of 20 reps, each time doing it slow. We're not trying to go back and forth really quick, learning nothing, but initially what we're trying to do is to take it nice and slow, making sure that we're making that U or following those points. If you have any questions, as always, let me know or give me a call at the store. Thank you.